At the end of Basics in Behavior, we saw Alice kill Claire, but she did it while transformed as some kind of monster. Many questions have been brought up in the FPE community, such as if Alice is even human. This video will fully discuss how Alice's transformation works, and thanks to Katie's previous uploads, we have a cohesive explanation for what's truly going on. These posts include intriguing lyrics from the music videos and also some plot points made years ago that might be important later. Before we continue, we have to address the elephant in the room, Episode 1, which is no longer happening. The FPE community has been plagued with weekly and sometimes even daily drama. Content farms, strange art, and harassment has ruined the whole experience for some fans. Now, I don't want to bring up negativity in a fun video theorizing, but I need to briefly touch on it. Everything that went on has led the creator Katie to unlist the Basics in Behavior video. She's gone on to state, quote, "Are you here because you wonder why I unlisted this video? Well, I'll tell you. I just don't want it to become more popular. After I uploaded this video to my channel, it became very popular very quickly. At first, I felt very happy and excited, but now I don't feel that way anymore. I feel like I'm less happy when I'm popular, and there are also a lot of problems. Do you think a kid like me can handle all this? I don't think so. I'm not even ready to be famous yet. I just made this animation for fun. I don't want to become popular. So, am I really going to quit FPE? I'm not sure yet. I might still draw FPE-related characters sometimes, but not that much, and I'll just focus on what I really like. I hope you understand. I'm really sorry I wasn't good enough, but I promise I'll do better next time. I hope so. Oh yeah, maybe the story in my main universe and the Paper School universe will not be related anymore, and some of the stories will be changed. I haven't finished writing the character stories yet, so don't be surprised if some of the stories seem weird and don't make sense. However, at the same time, I have received a lot of support. Thank you very much for making me happy. I love all of you. I will continue to draw no matter what happens. There may be people who don't like me and tell me to stop, but I don't care. I will continue to follow my dreams. I never give up. And one more thing, I still love FPE. Thanks for reading. I hope you have a great day, and don't forget to take care of yourself. As you heard from Katie herself, she still loves FPE, but just didn't expect nor want the insane attention it has received. She wants it to be more a niche community for true fans. She will still draw FPE characters, but the lore with the Paper School and her main universe might change and be separate. Either way, we'll be here to support her in any way we can, and hopefully many won't put too much pressure onto her, as we're all human. Last thing I want to point out is that since my last uploads, we have seen tons of AUs created by talented animators like the Red Danger AU or Green Science AU. No matter what happens from here on out, I'm going to consider those canon, as well as the rest of my headcanon ideas, as well as new art we might get from Katie as additions. Anyways, with all of that out of the way, let's get back into the topic of Alice and fully explore backstory. I speculated last video that the ominous forest we keep seeing is the cause of their new forms, and Claire is at fault for everything. Fen, for example, would be one character who doesn't fully blame Claire for what took place. In a now-deleted 20-second video, we see Claire and Fen on a dinner date surrounded by forests. Fen is shown in the monster form, but they are friendly. We see Baphomet, who's Oliver's parent, and Claire wants their help by blinking. It's showing us her fear, and yet it's not the same type of situation as with Alice. A parallel I might compare to is with Demon Slayer with Nezuko, but I'm not sure. Since it's in the forest, this is probably taking place after the big events, and maybe Fen found Claire first and they are just chilling before the ones more affected by this, like Alice, come for her. This adds to the theory of there being levels to these transformations with Fen, Engel, and other characters. It's also possible Alice sees things from a different perspective, which we'll go over a bit later, but nothing is off the table. But as you can see, I'm blurring the video out of respect for Katie, but I wanted to explain some of this lore to help give you an idea. Regarding Fen, though, there's actually a character they do dislike, and that's Lume I, who's in the music videos, a trick of the light, and therefore you and me. They are described as timid and kind, but we see Fen overshadow Lu in a trick of the light with blood on their head. Also in Therefore You and Me, we see their head taken off, but also they somehow survived by being transported to the forest and attacked once again. Fen doesn't blame Claire for her transformation, but might be blaming Lume T. Instead, as in the Therefore You and Me video, they are in a room with cages. It's possible Lu is just putting on a facade and is secretly a crazy monster known for hurting people. Their debut video is called A Trick of the Light. They could be tricking everyone or has a split personality. Let's move over to the Machine Girl video. because I feel this one explains the transformation the best. Fen is also briefly in this video hiding out in the forest, hearing something, and that certain something comes from two characters, Miller and Scary. At the beginning of this animation, we see Scary sneaking into the concert. Now, at first glance watching this, it's as if Miller is the antagonist and Scary is the victim, but in actuality, Miller is trying to get rid of Scary as he's possibly a Japanese yokai, specifically a Nekomata. He's not a Bakineko since they only have one tail and Scary is shown with two. But this yokai, as we saw at the end of the music video, is able to shapeshift into a human form and cause chaos for others. Scary or another yokai could be using necromancy to control the bodies and or souls of the deceased. This is why some characters like Alice, Fen, etc. have a monstrous form as they are partly yokai and died in the forest that Claire walked them into, as I explained in the last video. Nekomata can cause odd occurrences like strange fires, and I bring this up because if we look closely at Miller's blue transforming eye, it's as if there's a blue flame coming out of it. This might be a stretch, but it connects even more to why he's also transforming in the presence of this yokai. These blue glowing eyes are also similar to Alice's red eyes while transforming. Miller has a blue eye necklace, similar to Alice's triangle necklace. The blue eye necklace is a talisman for protection. It could also control the stage of their transformation. During the chaos, if you notice, Miller is performing and it overloads Scary, Biscuit, Claire, and we see Fen's eye like I mentioned moments ago. It's possible they have an ability to overload the five senses for their foes. Scary seems the most overwhelmed out of them. Miller, Scary, Vivian, who are in Machine Girl, have been seen as major focuses in Virus as well. This music video has separate lore of another theory that isn't as strong, but it also connects well with what we've discussed so far. Agatha in this video is the main focus along with the song lyrics. It explains that Agatha is a computer program and the virus they have makes them go insane. Also that the mafia has entered my brain and now you'll have to pay. You can't just leave for free. If you don't pay in the next 24 hours, then say goodbye to me. This song might have just given away a good chunk of the storyline without us realizing. It's possible this entire FPE verse is happening within a computer. These characters who became monsters like Alice, Fen, Miss Circle, etc. have been infected by a virus in the forest. They are all trapped and desperately need help from the hackers. This frame right here looks like it's the same room as Machine Girl takes place in, even though it happened before. It just adds proof to there being multiple windows or programs running on this computer. The lyrics also say, "I love you as you can be." Alice might care about Claire in her own way, but as I've mentioned, feels betrayed and sees her as an enemy. We also see this new photo Katie posted around a month ago, of Alice crying with Agatha behind her, seeming to be amused or happy. Clearly, we're deeper into the story lore, like 30 minutes into an episode, for example. This could show us that Agatha wants revenge, and is seeing Alice as one of the main conflicts in all of this. It's interesting because Agatha has the upper hand here, and we know she can see beyond the program or window she's in as she's looking out at the back rooms or a room that looks similar to them. We could see that these two are the main ones to battle it out since Agatha is so powerful rather than Claire winning, and then Claire has to reconcile with Alice towards the end of the story. This paired with all the photos of Oliver teaching Claire and holding her hand, it's safe to say that the real villains are the forest itself, and Alice might once been innocent. Or is there even more to the story? I say this due to another long since removed video, which I won't even show the blurred version of. The basic explanation of this old animation is as follows. In this story, it involves a character waking up in someone's lab and meeting a kind lady who billed her. She is designed similar to Claire, and Katie's Sona likes her, but she can't remember anything and wants to go home. She wants to kill anyone as they can't be trusted. Although this plot is old and from a different video unrelated, it's possible these ideas were carried over to FPE. The lab discussed could be similar to the room that Lume Sui was in, that could be the lab mentioned. Secondly, there's another video where we see a monster in this portal where a character that looks like a horse is being transported through different realities. This goes back to my theory in the previous video about not dying after being killed, but just transported to another reality. But that's pretty much all the current theories and lore I can discuss with you that's sort of canon. I also want to quickly include the Red Danger AU in this topic, as I feel it has interesting ideas even though Zenko made it instead of Katie. During this version, we see we're in a different yet similar world that takes place 3 years in the future. The teachers who were harming students are back after being arrested during the events of the first Basics in Behavior. This time, them along with the original students have to prepare for war at a new military school that Miss Grace sets up. The teachers like Miss Circle have to behave or they go back to jail. This animation shows us the character growth, sort of. I say that since we see Abby and Claire revived after dying in the previous episode, similar events play out but with certain roles reversed. We know Miss Bloomy is the main aggressor this time, and Miss Circle actually gets development trying to prevent this from happening. She's in Engel's role, which is nice to see. As I went over in my latest short, Abby's head had stitches on it, so in this case it could be that scars remain even if you enter another reality or it takes place in the same world and was manually put back together. But the fact that this video kind of explains it directly like a sequel really helps sell the other ideas we've discussed. Alice, of course, has returned in this video, but two major things happen. Firstly, we see a brief moment of back and forth with Claire and her going for the cheek again. Then a big battle, where the teachers and Miss Grace actually do something against Alice. This is because she goes way too far by taking a remote to mess with the nuclear weapons area in the school. It's unclear what happens next, but we do know that there's another FPE AU called Green, also known as the Science AU. It was created by Molly. In red, we see a gloomy sky with military plane, but in green, as the name suggests, the sky is green. The events in this version involve a disaster where the students were exposed to some kind of radiation leading to mutations, and they're in the hospital needing a cure. In this case, it's like role reversal to another level, as none of the teachers are malicious. They are desperately trying to return them to normal, and have to contain the students who have gained insane powers, like mind control, and more. Simply looking into the eyes of Bubbles or Robbie will cause you to be under their control, and this causes many to escape like Abby. It's straight chaos with these students attacking each other and the teachers. Like, they aren't just mutated, but they are also very sick. As you see here are clear designs of all the main characters are taller, have wings, teeth changed, but this continues on until Miss Grace disturbs Alice. Now, Alice does occupy the same role as the first two episodes, but in this case, she's actually helping the students by putting them back in their cells when they escape. She's so willing to help because Oliver was mutated and she really wants a cure for him, so by helping everyone, that goal can be reached. If we could consider both of these AUs canon, the events of Green could be a wider AOE of what took place in the forest. Now, after this, we did get a part 2 of Green. The overall plot is similar in how the students escape again and cause chaos. This time, we see Miss Emily is trying to give medicine to Kevin, figuring out what'll improve these symptoms. We see flying, levitating, and all sorts of abilities during this video, but it doesn't stop Miss Circle and the other teachers from fighting and taking them down with this fluid which might weaken them long enough to return to the prison. Unfortunately, one does escape, and this is Zip. She can fly very fast, of course, but even she has her limits, especially once Alice and Aiden get involved. Now, I find it interesting to see Aiden in this animation since we've only seen her in Katie's art, rather than an official animation. Seeing this paired with a piece that was posted back in August of Oliver and Aiden in the snowy forest kind of hanging out, proves that if they are cool and on the same side, then Alice would be as seen in this AU. As you can see, it's less about the entirety of the Katie-verse at this point, and more about the FP-verse with the projects we're receiving. There's clearly a lot of story potential here with fantastic ideas like the Green AU, for example, got a part 2, and Molly has stated there will be up to 5 parts coming, which is fantastic for our community moving forward. Unfortunately, while recording this video, there was more FPE drama leading to the deletion of many FPE artwork on Katie's Twitter account, and it's unknown if she'll continue or not, but I assume she will since she does enjoy this universe still, but probably just needs a break. She did state briefly on her Twitter that she wants to start all over, so it's less that she's done and more that she'd like a break. As I brought up earlier, we will all show our support and respect whatever she decides to do. And lastly, I'd like to say that FPE isn't dying, its community is strong with infinite possibilities. We have creators like Molly, the Edgyverse, and Combietti Animations. Their work has kept this fandom going, and I would like to thank them for it. But what do you think of Alice's transformation and her goals, or the new AUs we visited in this video? Let's discuss this in the comments, and thanks for watching.